This is the story of how we threw my daughter's wedding together in just 2 days. First, I'm going to tell you their story. McKenzey and Jackson met in Mississippi in 2020. Jackson was from Indiana and McKenzey was going to school in Mississippi. She called me within the days of meeting him and told me that she had met the man she was going to marry, and I laughed. The following summer, she was home in Florida when she told me she was pregnant. She lived on campus at Mississippi State during her pregnancy, and Jackson drove down from Indiana for every single doctor's appointment. They managed to spend Christmas in Florida and Indiana. Jackson made the move to Starkville, and they got their own place just in time for Lainey's arrival in March of 2022.
That pretty hair. Crazy hair. Oh, Mama, just look at you. Yeah, that's the first time she cried. Sorry.
We drove to Starkville often to visit, and they came home to Florida often. Until finally, in August, we packed a U-Haul and moved them into their current home, which is about a mile down the road from us in Florida. By the end of 2022, they were expecting again, but this time around was a little bit rougher. McKenzey had a really hard time with this pregnancy, and she had to see a high-risk doctor weekly, pretty much through the entire thing. The high-risk doctor made the decision in early June of 2023 to induce her early. They were afraid that she wasn't going to be big enough and that she'd do better after she was born. This time I couldn't be at the hospital because I was taking care of Lainey, so I just held my breath and prayed a whole lot until Miss Amelia arrived.
And my sister's having another baby today.
Oh, wait, hold on. Your sister's calling.
Amelia, against all odds, was perfectly healthy. We all knew McKenzey and Jackson would get married. They were in love and they were a family. In August, Jackson finally bought her a ring and made it official. They still weren't sure of the plan, though. Having 2 babies under 2 is quite busy, and McKenzey was still attending school. She was just attending in Florida now. Jackson works for our family construction business. We do remodels and we build houses. McKenzey's brother works for us as well, and some of you might already know that his name is also Jackson. Right before Christmas, we were working on a beach house we'd remodeled several years ago. It was actually the first remodel we ever did after moving to Florida. We had a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, and we had all been there chipping in at one time or another. After one day that McKenzey and Jackson had been there all day working, McKenzey told me that she thought it was the perfect place to have their wedding. Christmas came, and Jackson's family was in town from Indiana. His parents and sister came often, but his grandparents were also in town, and they weren't able to come as often. McKenzey and Jackson spent Christmas Eve with us, and as they were picking up and getting ready to leave, I had mentioned what McKenzey said about getting married at the beach house to Philip. And he said he might be able to make that happen while Jackson's family was in town. Everyone agreed that it was a really good idea, but we didn't take it too seriously. Then the Thursday after Christmas, I got a text from Philip saying that we could use the house for the wedding on Saturday. Saturday was just 2 days away. The very first thing that had to happen was to find out if Bailey could make it. This was not going to happen without her. Bailey has been McKenzie's best friend since kindergarten. They shared everything together. Bailey is referred to as number 6 in our family, or like our 6th child. All my girls have M names: McKenzie, Montana, Monica. So we would call Bailey McBailey. Bailey lives 500 miles away in Memphis and also has a family of her own. She has 2 little boys. So it took a lot of coordination, but she confirmed that she would be there. So our next mission was Grandma and Mackenzie's oldest brother, Jordan. They both also live in Memphis. And Grandma does not do spontaneity well. She had just been down earlier that month in December for my college graduation, and she had just had breast cancer surgery a week earlier. She is very fine, in remission now. Thank God. But she knew what this meant to Mackenzie, and after a full day of phone calls going back and forth, she agreed to come down the next day as well. Mackenzie reached out to a girl she used to work with named Daisy that she knew was an officiant now, and she was able to secure her to perform the ceremony, so that was taken care of right off the bat. That night, the girls and I, the girls being Montana and Monica, my 8 and 10-year-old, we went to Ross, and we started looking at clothing options. I really wasn't sure at that point if Mackenzie was trying to color coordinate, like what Bailey was going to wear, what Mackenzie wanted to wear herself. So I was just texting pictures back and forth to her and Bailey, trying to get some kind of theme going. And we finally were able to make some good choices. It was Christmas break, so the girls and I went to a really late movie, and we were the only ones in the theater. So while we were watching the movie, I was posting on some community Facebook groups, trying to find a photographer. I messaged back and forth with Charlotte, who owns British Touch Photography, and I really liked her vibe, so that is who I chose. So that was taken care of. A lot had to be accomplished on Friday. You can see I had this very organized list on a paper towel that Jackson added things to. The first major thing that needed to be taken care of was the marriage license, but that is when they found out that there is a 3-day waiting period in Florida, and they were getting married the next day.
How was your wedding? Did you like it?
It was amazing. I can't.
You can't do the wedding, or you can't do the marriage.
It's good.
The license. What happened with that? Y'all went to go get it.
Yes, there was a 3-day waiting period. And we were unable to get married.
Shoney's hot fudge cakes? Do you remember hot fudge cakes from Shoney's? You do?
There was a 3-day waiting period. I asked our officiant if she would postate the paperwork, but she wouldn't.
So she was. So it was nothing illegal that y'all did. She just married y'all, and then y'all met back up and signed everything.
Yes, it wasn't illegal. I did offer to pay her extra to do it illegally. She wouldn't do it.
So she's straight up. So okay, what else? There was something else. What else were you into? Oh, Jackson's ring.
It's silicone.
You got it from Walmart.
$4.
Cool. Okay.
Like $5 somewhere.
And what else were you in charge of?
Was I in charge of?
Yeah.
Everything?
Wait, what did I do then?
I don't know. You did the food. And a lot. My dress was my prom dress.
I thought you didn't want me to know that.
Then don't post it.
So after the marriage license fiasco, Mackenzie went to get Jackson's ring and the jacket to go with her dress and matching pants for both Jacksons, since at some point in this scenario, Jackson had asked his soon-to-be brother-in-law Jackson to be his best man. So while she was doing that, I went after the cake. I basically went to Publix and after a lot of discussion with the people in the bakery, convinced them to make a tiered birthday cake sized wedding cake because we didn't need a cake that would serve 600 people like a wedding cake does. It wasn't exactly as we talked about when we got it, but we were still happy with it. After the cake, I went by Destin Ice and ordered several pans of shrimp, sausage, corn, and potatoes. Then McKenzey and I met at Hobby Lobby. We spent several hours there picking out flowers and feathers for the arch, feathers that went in the ground, flower girl baskets, flowers for everyone's hair, cake cutlery, champagne glasses, flowers for Bailey and McKenzey to carry, and I'm pretty sure there's more than that that I can't remember. It took McKenzey a while to make decisions. She went back and forth on it, but we eventually decided on everything. And then after Hobby Lobby, I went to Fort Walton where I bought an arch for someone on Facebook Marketplace for $20. And then when I got home, Grandma and Jordan had already arrived, and Bailey and Preston made it to McKenzey's later that night as well. Saturday morning, I placed a Walmart delivery order for flowers so that we could use the petals since we were going to be on the beach and they needed to be biodegradable. I also got plastic plates, cutlery, and drinks, and then McKenzey and Bailey brought all the champagne. Jackson's parents were able to pick up the cake that day and the food on the way to the house. And then the final piece for the wedding was the music. McKenzey had looked for a non-traditional processional song, and she had found the absolute perfect song, which is a violin version of Stay With Me. So on the way to the beach house, we stopped at Best Buy, and Philip went in and got speakers that you could Bluetooth to so that we could play the music on. When we got there, Jackson and Preston also got there, and we got everything set up, got the flowers on the arch, got the chairs down on the beach. When we first got there, I was like, it is too cold, it's too windy, but we quickly forgot about it. We made our way to the beach, and as the wedding began, the balconies on each side of the house were full of people looking on, which was really neat.
Someone.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Jackson Opperman.
She's like dying laughing. I'm like, what did somebody say to her? Oh shit.
Hey, please smash it in her face. You have
Should I go 0.5 or regular?
I don't know.
0.5? Regular. Right, yeah, 0.5.
Hold on. I'm videoing. I'm videoing the whole room.
I love y'all tremendously. I wouldn't want anyone else. Please no. I love y'all. Best wishes to y'all both. Nice job as well.
That was beautiful, Jackson. Are you saying something, Bailey?
No, I just agree with him. I was like, yeah.
Me too.
I love you guys so much, and I'm so happy.
Okay, now who's smashing the cake?
We're not smashing the cake yet. I have something else to tell you.
Oh, Grandma's doing a speech.
First, like everybody else, I want to say how much I love you both. And I have one word of advice for you. All of the many years you're going to be together, communicate, communicate, communicate. Talk it out. And I know you can do it because it's in action. I want to say how, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your choice. Stand, crush the bird, it comes with this whole family, joking and laughing, and making fun, and saying, I'm sorry, did you take it as a joke, you know. So he fits right in, and we love him beautiful. Second Jackson, we love you more than we want to do in our lives. And people have told me talking about Jackson's they get confused because they're like, and I get confused trying to talk about that, right? So Jackson, at first I used to say the other Jackson. And my brother Bob said, no, it should be safe. So my idea was to call you Indiana Jackson. That didn't stay.
It sounds cool. It didn't. I forgot about that.
It's Indiana Jones.
Because we still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, we